Brian, and welcome, Nigel. I can't tell you how happy I am to see you here.
Thank you.
You've said your squad isn't good enough. Tell us, are there any restrictions on you finance-wise in from the board or financial fair play that might restrict you in getting the number one objective of promotion this season? Are there any money restrictions that might stop you doing that?
I think it's a very good question, Brian, and I think with all football clubs we have to make sure that we're run prudently, so we're well aware of that. We can talk about the history of a lot of football clubs who have shelled a load of money at it, and all of a sudden they're on the, I've talked about Tranmere Rovers, although they didn't shell a load of money at it. You can talk about other clubs who've actually gone all the way down the line. So there has to be a budget, and there has to be a budget that has to be adhered to. I think the important thing is players and targets that we look to bring in, they've got to be the right ones. They're actually going to help us get promoted. And we don't need to just fill it with a load of numbers. We've got to make sure there's a pathway for the youngsters to come through, because that from a business point of view is actually quite prudent. But it's great to produce your own who are going to play and be Sheffield United football players. So I think that's important. But we've got to think about the here and the now, and the here and the now is important for everybody at Sheffield United Football Club, and that's to get up. So I know we've got the Prince coming over to have a chat with, to visit, which is really pleasing. And obviously Kevin McCade is the two owners. There's a budget there. We need to push it as much as we can, and that's certainly what I've got to go and do. I've got to keep making sure that we can be competing for players that will improve what we've got. But I'm also very mindful, having been at other football clubs, that you don't just throw and shell a load of money at it unwisely. So there has to be an intelligence about how you're recruiting.
The question is, are you confident with the budget you've been given?
Yeah, I had him.
I'm doing it. I was just doing it for everyone else in the room.
I'll be confident. Listen, I would probably estimate there's probably 6 or 7 teams maybe got a bigger budget than us in the division. But that doesn't mean that we haven't got a budget and give ourselves an opportunity to get promoted. I think that's the reality as well, that we also have to understand as well. Sometimes clubs really go for it in a short-term venture, and maybe they actually get there or they fall down. But they'll go for it for a period of time, then realise the money dries up, you know. But I'd like to think as a football club that we've got, our objective has to be, and the vision has to be, United Football Club that is striving to get ultimately to the Premier League and be sustainable in that division. It's one step at a time. We're a long, long, long way away from that at the moment, and I think we all appreciate that. We've got to make sure we give ourselves a chance this year to get up, and I think that's what everybody's desire has to be.